Okay, so this old camp, that back wall was leaning out about an inch, inch and a quarter. The ridge had a sag in it about 4 inches, and the ceiling joists, which are not continuous obviously, were starting to separate. And then over here, they didn't actually even land them on the top plate and tie them into the top plate. So a lot of it was wrong. So how did we go about trying to fix it? Put joist hangers on and then strapping underneath on the tension side, right? So probably didn't need to do that at this point, but it was part of an earlier plan before we landed this beam in here. So instead of putting it at the ridge, because when the ridge is sagging, you need to lift it up, and the only way you can lift it up is by jacking it up. And then how do you jack it up? So we put these like triple collar ties off center, and we had one jack there and then one jack there. And we talked about putting the beam up there. But then we kind of opted more for like a post and beam solution. And anyways, by the time we relaxed it all down, and we were putting as much load as we could, there's a beam here, and it's just not exactly where everything lands. The floor was getting a little, not as much love as it needed. So we ended up only losing about an inch over the ridge. And so we got a couple things to do next. One, we're going to release these lines. These went out to some trees in the front to try and pull that wall back in. Which worked. We got about an inch out of that, which was cool. And so we pulled that in and then refastened all the ceiling joists, pushed up on the top, put in these super stiff collar ties. While it was all suspended, falsely supported, we brought in the beam, a triple lam 2x10. And then we've got this little nailing ledger here, which will just be a chair position to pick up some struts to help these undersized 2x4 rafters. So what we'll do is we'll push this back up that other inch, and we'll push those out and try to get rid of what, there's a little belly. It's about 1/2 or 3/4 inch. And so it'll ultimately be strutted down to this attic beam, which is posted to the ridge with the reinforced ceiling joists. And that's pretty good. It starts to become a debate as to whether you should just tear it down and redo it, but we're 20 kilometers by water access. So sometimes working with what you've got is just simply easier. So anyways, quick little summary of how we're doing this job.